deaf-blind person. I was born with cerebral palsy, which affected both my sight and hearing, and then later in life I completely lost my sight. I work for Deaf Blind Association as secretary, so I have to pick up the mail, read it on my scanner, document all the mail, so it's all documented, and then write any letters that need writing and do the emails.
Hello, my name is Carlita and I have Usher's syndrome. I was born with RP, so I couldn't see or hear anymore at a later age. My mode of communication is through hand over hand, and this is how I communicate. This is how I communicate throughout my life. My role is a self-advocate. I am a self-advocate representative for DBA, and I also represent the self-advocacy group for the deaf and blind by meeting with MP, with government officials to support the deaf and blind community.
The purpose of this video is to raise money so that Carlita and I can attend the World Federation of Deaf Blind conference in Spain in June next year. Now, it's really important that we go to the conference because we need to bring back the information presented on deafblindness to Australia to benefit all deafblind people within Australia. I am the Pacific representative on the World Federation, so I will represent Australia and New Zealand at the General Assembly, where we will be making the order of things to be done for the next 4 years.
I think it's very important for me and Irene to go to Spain for the World Federation of the Deaf and Blind conference, as it's very important for us to gain as much knowledge as we can and what's accessible for the deaf and blind community, not only in Australia and New Zealand, but also all around the world. I think it would be a great opportunity to bring back all that information that we learn and spread it to the deaf and blind community in Australia. I think that would be a very important role.
Oh yes, Carlita and I would like to present a paper on our self-advocacy group. There are 3 of us, all of us deaf-blind, who go out to represent all people with deaf blindness and to talk to politicians, members of the public, and anyone else who will listen about deaf-blindness and what the deaf-blind community need. It's very important to raise awareness because deaf-blindness is a small incident disability and not a lot is known. It's not blindness plus deafness, but it is a lot harder because blind people rely on their sight, deaf people rely on their hearing. A deaf-blind person cannot rely on either.
So this is how the deaf and blind can possibly be isolated. The deaf community has a big community, and then there's also the minority of deaf and blind. So to attend the conference, the World Federation for the Deaf and Blind, we would need support workers, we would need interpreters, just how I communicate at the moment. There are different modes of communicating for the deaf and blind. There is vision framed, where an interpreter has to be close to the person who is deaf with vision framed. There's also hand over hand, and there is also tactile. A person who has Usher syndrome, like myself, who is completely deaf and blind, needs access to communication through hand over hand, just like what is happening at the moment. So these varieties for the deaf and blind is what is currently in the deaf and blind community.
So Khalid is going to tell us how much they money.
I think it's very important for us to raise as much money as we can. We're looking at about $30,000 to raise some money to help me and Irene fly to Spain and be a part of the World Federation of the Deaf and Blind. We would need guides throughout the Deaf and Blind World Federation Conference, and also interpreters.
Just want to end with a thank you.
Thank you for watching, and I hope from this video you can help both me and Irene in attending the World Federation for the Deaf and Blind.